Macy Kwok.
Hi, Kev.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited.
Thank you for coming.
No, thanks for having me. That was great.
You're very welcome. Can you hear yourself all right?
Yes.
All right. We didn't do the testing, but I've been doing this long enough now. I think we're good.
Great.
Yeah. So how's lunch? What did you eat?
I had Korean barbecue for breakfast.
Yum. That is so Asian, by the way.
We were the only one at a 24/7 Korean barbecue restaurant at 10:30 a.m.
That is early. I didn't even know there was such a thing.
I didn't know either.
Where is it?
Koreatown.
Is it good?
It was great.
Okay, I don't know. So my wife, she's from Hong Kong as well, and she can eat hot food, like leftovers, anything for breakfast. Where I'm kind of more like, I like breakfast things, like I like a piece of toast or, a bit of fruit. But she's like, nah, she's...
Continental breakfast, right?
Yeah.
When you go to a hotel, they're like, continental breakfast. I don't know what that means, but I always had a good time.
Continental breakfast is like... That's kind of when they give you a little bit of everything, right? The eggs, they give you the sausage, they give you the cereal, they give you the...
Croissant,
yeah.
How do you say it?
I don't like croissants for breakfast.
Oh.
That's probably like my least favorite, like bakery goods, like croissants. No, actually, when you were in Australia, did you have the meat pies for breakfast? Did you have a meat pie or a sausage roll?
Sausage rolls, yes.
Yeah.
Meat pie was too much, but I used to work in a company that gives you really amazing sausage rolls for, afternoon tea. Back in the days, they would have budget to pay for, like catering. So bring you amazing pastries.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I can eat anything in the morning because my grandma used to take me to dim sum or yum cha, we call it in Hong Kong, at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So I was used to eating
but that's like
heavy stuff.
That's like what you guys have for breakfast in Hong Kong, isn't it? That's what Mel used to always say, that like that's what, when she's in Hong Kong, that's what they would...
You can do dim sum, in the morning.
Yeah.
So
it is more
like
of a morning lunchtime
chicken
thing.
feet and, steamed pork buns. Yeah. That's like very normal.
I love chicken feet.
Do you do?
Yeah, I'm such a fan. I never used to. I was like, this is so weird. It took me like 3 or 4 times to get used to it. And I don't like them all. Like, I don't like the sweet ones. But if I get the right ones, they're delicious.
The white color ones?
Like, I don't know. There's a place in Chinatown that does the ones that I like. And they're more like a little bit spicy and savory. But there's the ones that there are ones that like they're black bean. They're black bean, I think. And they're like more sweet. And I don't like those.
Yeah, there is one kind that is like they soak it in vinegar and then you didn't have that one?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. That one's a little bit more like firm in texture.
Okay.
And then the other style you mentioned, I think they braised it. They deep fry and braised it and like it makes it soft. So I don't know if you're the soft or
I've had the really soft ones. Yeah.
The soft one. You like the soft one.
What, do you like those ones?
That's the best. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like the white vinegar style so much. Yeah.
I've seen a chef in Australia do them, and he grills them on a barbecue and gets them like crispy, almost like the chicken wings, like how you would do. And I thought,
whoa, is he Australian?
Yeah. Okay. I thought that would be okay.
I've never tried that. That's creepy. That's
really?
Creepy.
But do you ever...
Chicken feet on a barbie?
Yeah.
Okay.
But chicken wings, when you roast a chicken wing or even deep fry it, but that very end bit of the chicken wing, I like to eat that little like really hard, the bone, because it gets so soft.
Oh.
I feel like the chicken feet would be like that, wouldn't it not? I don't know.
I've never tried chicken feet on a barbecue, but I will try that.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, like the crispy bit. I'm into that. I'm into that. Yeah. I like all the bad food, and I like all the Australian food the best, to be honest. When I say Australian food, it's like I think their produce is so good. Like I used to go to Woolworths to just like buy beef, and then I just grill it at home, and then I put like, veggies, and that's a meal. Like it's so simple.
It's like restaurant quality. It's really good.
Quality. I don't know.
So let's go back a bit. So you're obviously born in Hong Kong, born and raised in Hong Kong. And then when you were were you 18 when you left Hong Kong?
Yeah, I left Hong Kong and then I went to Australia. I went to Sydney.
Okay.
By myself.
So what was your life like growing up in Hong Kong prior to that? Like what was your family, like where were you? Were you in the city? Like what was it?
Yeah.
And then what was your reason for leaving?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I lived mostly on the Kowloon side. And then my mom lived on my parents got divorced and my mom moved around and then she lived on the Hong Kong side. So I lived with her on the Hong Kong side for a little bit. But most of my life was on the Kowloon side.
What's that?
It's like kind of like the Jersey of New York.
Okay, I hear. Okay.
But not in distance-wise, but I think people think the Hong Kong side has more like expats and they're more British or they have more, budget for like big apartments.
Gotcha.
And the Kowloon side is more like the local Hong Kong. The Mong Kok, you got all the street.
The real Hong Kong.
The fun. Yeah, you can buy all the, where you bargain for like a piece of scarf.
Yeah.
And, you get a good deal, and then you get catcall, on your way to your bubble tea, and you get all these shopping malls. Like that's what I missed about Hong Kong. Like all those shopping malls in Kowloon side, like you get all the imports from like Japan fashion, Korean fashion, and like it's not like Zara. Like Zara, H&M, they're still. European, like they're so standard, but like you go to the shopping malls in Hong Kong, like your wife should know.
Yeah.
Did she live there when she was?
She didn't live there, but she visited a lot.
Oh, she was like really Australian.
Very Australian, yeah.
Ah, I see. So but I went to Australia by myself. I studied in Macquarie University.
Okay, so you left to do your studies. Okay, so you did basically finish high school and then left.
Yeah.
So Mel would tell me that I think from what you've described, her family were in like the Hong Kong. I don't know what area, but that's what it sounds like.
She's a rich bitch. I'm the local, I'm the OG. Stephen Chow.
I don't know if they were. So what I think they had like the worst house in the best street, if that makes sense. So the street that the family has is like all being developed now. But when they were growing up, it was like
in Hong Kong?
In Hong Kong, it wasn't. And she would tell me that like if they wanted to shower, they would have to pour water into a bucket and heat it up, and then they would do the old cup over, like, because they didn't have like a proper shower in there.
What?
So the family, it was very like rudimentary.
Wait.
I don't know.
In the Hong Kong side, she was the poorest person.
The family were, yeah.
Oh, she has to pour water.
Yeah. That's how they would shower, but I mean that's pretty standard around the world.
That's sexy.
It kind of is. Kind of feels like something out of a James Bond movie, like just gone killing people. I don't know. Okay, yeah.
So interesting.
So then at 18, you were like, fuck it, fuck Hong Kong. Actually, did you know you would have known how to speak English pretty well being in Hong Kong, didn't you?
Yeah, I learned when I was. Yeah, it's going for we went for the British education system, so it was intense. Like we learned. Yeah, we had to go through all these levels. Like the A-level system, they call it A-level. I forgot. But that's like you got to do all these, form, like they call it Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, which is like, I don't know what's the equivalent here, but until Form 5, you can leave and, just work. You can join the workforce or you can go for 2 more years and then reach Form 7. And then after that then you can apply for college, universities. Okay. But at the time, my grade was so bad.
Really?
I didn't get in any. And then I was like, oh my God. I was working in a high-end store and making decent salary. I work in like the Italian brand, Ferragamo. Mm-hmm. The fancy shoes. And I was working there. I was like, either I'll just do this job and make money and go party, or I need to figure something out. Mm-hmm. And then I met this person. He's like my friend at the time who he was applying for shit in Australia. I didn't know what he was applying for, but he asked me to go to dinner, but he was like after work, because he was also working in Central at the time. I was working in Ferragamo. He was like a mailman, like for an office. So he was like, let's go get dinner. I was like, yeah, I can go. And he was like, but before we go, I have to stop by somewhere. Can you go with me? And that was actually the like an agency that helped Hong Kong students to study overseas.
Wow.
So if I didn't go with him, I didn't know about that type of services. And I wouldn't have, I guess, talked to, like I wouldn't know they exist. And then one of the consultants saw me, I was just waiting around because he was going to submit his thing. So she came and talked to me. She's like, hey, what's the deal with you? Are you like looking to study overseas? I was like, no, we don't have money to do this. Like, I would not be able to do this. And then she was like, oh, just, take this brochure, take a look. You can apply. You don't have to pay anything. Just submit like your, results from, I forgot what was the kind of certificate. It's like, you submit it and see if they will take you. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, here's the thing. And then I just forgot about it completely. And then she called me and she said, hey, congratulations. They would like to, talk to you more and like see if you'll be a fit to study. And then, well, it turns out they just take anyone.
Yeah. That's a good marketing ploy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a bridge for overseas students to go there and you just have to pay the tuition.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I basically come from like a city girl in Hong Kong, and then I studied in Macquarie University on a farm.
Amazing.
Honestly, it felt like a farm to me.
Yeah, so Macquarie, that's Victoria, isn't it? Is that Victoria?
In New South Wales, it's in Sydney, Sydney, kind of an hour away from the CBD.
Right. Okay, I haven't been there.
Yeah. Yeah, at the time, nobody go there. I think now it's pretty fancy, but at the time, I saw a lot of trees and like ducks. I was looking at the ducks walking past me every day, and I was like, at least they have a family. I was there by myself.
So I want to ask you one more thing before we go to Australia. Did you ever go to mainland China when you were growing up? Okay, so what did you find the difference between like, because obviously for people that don't know, the Hong Kong was basically a British colony for 100 years, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
99
Yeah.
years.
Okay, 99 years, right? So Hong Kong has a lot of British influence. And what did you notice a stark difference when you would go to China, like mainland China for like holidays and stuff like that, and then go back to Hong Kong? And can you do you know what they were, like culturally or?
Yeah, I think at the time, a lot of mainland Chinese wants to come to Hong Kong to either work or settle down. It was like a lot of demand. So so most people who come to Hong Kong, they want to go to work, and then Hong Kong people go to mainland to travel, like because they have good services. Like, everything is much affordable there. And yeah, when I went there, it's mostly like for like, just to relax, because, they have all these like scenery, like beautiful. Have you been to China before?
I haven't. I really want to.
I've been to Shanghai and mainland, like Shenzhen is like close to Hong Kong, and like some places that my family took me to, but I don't remember exactly the name of the province. But I loved it. Like, I just feel like it's very more cultural, I never been to the Beijing to see the Great Wall of China.
Oh, really?
Oh, if your wife go, I'll go with her.
Yeah.
I'll go with her.
I'm keen to go as well. That would be.
I think it's very amazing. But
the culture of China, it's one of the oldest civilizations in the world. I think it's like the history is insane. And you guys, the Chinese were just tribal people. There were so many dynasties, and they're just war dynasties. War. There's so much war. All you fuckers did was fight. That's fight and colonize and fight and colonize. And then it's crazy. The history of it.
Yeah, I studied history growing up. And there's a lot of we need to study. I should know the name in English, but like the dynasty, like different, like how one dynasty falls down because of one dude who cheated, like one dude who didn't lock the door or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
One dude who's like a spy, But I was more into like the art of war, the person, the strategic mastermind. That like, how they send the messages. Like it may send a pigeon, a pigeon. There's always one dude who's like smarter,
They used to have those like, if they're women, like the women in the Chinese dynasties would have a lot of power as well. And what the king would do, because he would often be out going to war and stuff like that, the men that were in the town, like in the, I guess, castle or the palace or whatever you would call it, they would chop off the testicles of the men so that they couldn't have sex with the women.
Oh, wow.
Which I read this recently. I was like, that's insane.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That I didn't study in the book. They cut that part out. So which book did you study?
I read this book. I can't even remember what it's called. It was amazing. It was like the last... Anyway, I don't know.
We need some fact chat. We need someone to
Jamie,
fact check.
where's Jamie?
I did not know about the testicle stuff.
Yeah.
They cut it off the book. Yeah. Also, on top of the testicles, everything cut off.
Yeah, they can't. So they can't fuck the wives. It's crazy. But anyways,
now
makes a lot of sense. Did you ever study in history about like the Mao section of China when Mao was in charge and all like the communism and how they burnt all like they went through and like destroyed so much of like the books and all like beautiful temples and stuff in China. Did you ever learn much about that?
They buried the scholars alive.
Mm-hmm.
They show the grave. It's like an exhibition, right?
Basically, anyone that was like smart or like anyone that could like defy the off with their head.
I wouldn't be qualified, but
no,
me neither. Not study, and my math is very bad, so everything bad. So, oh my god, you brought up
Anyway, I know nothing. I'm just interested to see if you knew.
Deep history.
Yeah, it's very.
No, it was on the book, on the history book that they would allow us to study. No, I used to, we have to wrap these books. Is it a thing in Australia?
Yeah.
We protect the book.
Yeah. With contact. Yeah.
Do people still do that?
Yeah, I actually did it on a book like 2 days ago. I wrapped one. Yeah.
What did you wrap it with?
Mel bought me some stuff. It was like a material. I just did it with a material because it's a book. It's a book about like drug abuse and alcoholism, and it's like very obvious that I'm reading it, and I wanted to be able to take it on the train, but I don't want people to see that I'm reading because I find it very interesting, all that stuff. It's
wow.
Anyways, we used to have to do that at school a lot.
Wrapping books.
Yeah.
It's such an endearing thing. I can't believe you still do that.
Yeah.
Now I just drink tea over like I don't care. Now I'm highlighting everything.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know you were into books still.
Yeah, I love reading. It's I'm actually reading now the Nelson Mandela autobiography, and that's interesting. The first part was really interesting. Now I'm like, I don't know if you find this with books. Like, I can find it. I have to be drawn into the book like really quickly and stimulated by the book and what I'm reading. But then if there's like a long dip of context that isn't so interesting, I do find it like really hard to stay focused. Do you get like that with books?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't read a book for a long time, like fully. But I was wondering if you study which book
Nelson Mandela.
Do you see any kind of similarities between leadership in the I guess Western side and the Asian, because you study history.
I know a bit about history, but there's, I don't know, the South African history is really crazy because of apartheid. he's basically in, in the needlehead of like starting the black rights movement. But the blacks in South Africa had no rights. Like they weren't even considered citizens in their own country. They weren't allowed to vote. They weren't allowed to ride in the same buses. They weren't allowed to eat in the same restaurants. They weren't allowed to do anything that was considered white. They took all the labor jobs, like so they would work in the mines, but they had no rights to decent wages. They did all the farming jobs. They basically did all the shit jobs. Kind of similar to what I guess happened here, but I don't know a lot about the American history, but it sounds like that was similar, like when they had segregation in the South and stuff like that. So he led the movement, and I don't know, I guess that has kind of happened everywhere in the West. We had that in Australia where we didn't our Aboriginals weren't allowed to vote. We didn't let them vote. I don't know how bad the segregation was, but did you ever learn about the stolen generation in Australia?
No.
So there was a scheme that went for about 100 years. And what they did is if an Aboriginal baby was half caste, which is what they called, if it was like had any white in it, like a white father, or even if it wasn't, even if the parents were deemed ineligible to look after these kids, and often that would just be if they, weren't educated or like didn't have, they just were just Indigenous. They would take the children from them and then put them in white orphanages, like white-run orphanages or white homes. And then their plan was to dilute them. Essentially get them, teach them white ways and white culture, and then hope that they would then breed with white people and eventually breed all the black out of them.
Wow.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah.
Every country has a dark past. It doesn't matter where you go, China, South Africa, America, Australia, England. We've all done.
You're into it. You're like,
yeah, I'm into it.
Why are you into it?
I don't know. Why am I into it? I don't know. I guess there's a hopeful part of me that, like, if you learn about this stuff, you can maybe make an impact and change the world in some way. I don't know how.
There's some element of like being able to relate to people like better, understand each other better, because we all grow up. Nobody's grow up the same. Like even your wife Mel is, she lived in Hong Kong before. And I lived in Hong Kong, but we have a whole different experience. So being able to understand, I feel like understanding history allow us to, be more open to understand each other. I think it's so important.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. But then you see history repeat itself. Like what's going on in Israel with the Palestinians. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Like, I understand that the Israelis have their right to protect themselves and all that, but I don't get it. It seems like they're just trying to wipe out these guys. Like they've bombed. If you look at statistics, I think like 90% of Palestine's now flat, gone in a year. So now you've just displaced over 250,000 people. They reckon the body count of Palestinians was 250,000 before the war. Now there's about 180 Palestinians living in Palestine. So what happened to 70,000 of them? They're probably dead. And it's like, all right, so the Jews were persecuted for 2,000 years, which we personally had nothing to do with. So it's not really our fault. It's no one's fault anymore. That's done. But now it's almost like they're using what's happened in the past to then justify what they're doing now. And the world is just standing back and just watching and going, this is okay. And no one's doing anything about it. So that's the crazy thing. And this is just one of many things that, this shit is happening all over the world. There's just little fractions of this happening all over the world, like what's happening in Ukraine. I mean, war in general is just so dumb, but you think that it gives, studying the past or acknowledging the past would give us a greater understanding of what's happened. But it doesn't do shit, does it? It doesn't do anything.
You just don't know until.
Also, yeah, and we don't have any influence over that. We don't now, but maybe we will in the future. But anyways,
no, it's good to care, and then it's just like the question is like, how do you get the truth?
Yeah,
get to the truth. But
yeah. Anyways, let's move on. So you moved to Australia when you're 18. You moved to Macquarie. God, that must have been a stark difference from Hong Kong.
Oh yeah, I was shocked. I was like, whoa! I thought I'm gonna live this life like on a sitcom. Like I thought, before I moved to Australia, I was watching the sitcom called My So-Called Life. Have you ever seen? I don't know if it's a popular show. It is an American show. It's like, do you know Claire Danes, the actress? She was in it, and then it's like about her life in college, and it's like, I guess she was like experiencing her, her college life, like partying and meeting boys and drinking, and she I think she journal every now and then. Like, so I was like, I want to live like her. I was like, this is so cool. I'm going to be, meet these like hot Australian guys and in college. And then I got there and like, okay, nothing's going on. I don't see it. I don't see anyone. I don't see anything. It's like, where's everybody? They all study from home. What's going on? Where's the guys?
Because there must have been just like a small country town then, basically, to you coming from Hong Kong.
Yeah. I was studying a diploma, so it wasn't even part of the college degree until year 2, because I was doing like a bridging college diploma.
Okay.
And so it was just all Asian students.
Oh, really?
So I was like, I'm not here to meet you. I'm like, where are the Australian boys?
Where's the white boys?
Exactly. Yeah, it was like not that fun. I don't know. It was, until I guess year 2, I kind of meet more local Australians.
That raises a question to me. So when I lived in London, right? And I found, when in my early 20s, I moved to London. And I found like, it took a year. It took a year to really like warm up to the place. And I've just clocked a year in New York like 2 days ago.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
So, and I feel, thank you. And do you think that is like, in any place you go to, any new town, it does just take that like initial, really a year or so just to get into it? Of course,
yeah. At least a year to get, to find your people, I think. But I would say if you're looking to move, like enjoy that, right? Like it's also fun to see who pops up. Like, because after a while, you're gonna hang out with people you know. But in the beginning, you don't have like a benchmark. You don't know if like some dude you meet in a bar is he normal? Like is he like a serial killer? Like you don't know. You have no evidence, right?
Yeah.
Did you watch that show called Baby Reindeer?
Yes.
Do you like that show?
I loved it.
Like, say for the main character, like he was just working in the pub, but he lived there, right? Like did he move? I don't know.
He moved there.
He moved
there from like Northern England or Manchester or Ireland or something, and then he moved down to London. And
then the customer, like turns out to be a I guess stalker.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have one, but I was the stalker. But I always find that relatable because you're like, you don't know, we don't have a benchmark. You don't know if she's crazy or not, or he's crazy or not. So, because you don't know anyone, right? Like, nobody's going to tell you. And I found that was, a lot of times it was fascinating. I did have some, when I got there, and like I said, I was in a bridging course, so I was hanging out with a lot of Asians. So because we all came for that, the bridging thing, which we could allow us to go to the university, and yeah, so I was, still speaking in like Cantonese a lot. Like I wasn't really quite Australian until like the second year. I think my friend who I hung out with, she's from Hong Kong as well, and she met an Australian boy. So they were dating. I was like the third wheel, and then I kind of just hang out with them. I go to town for like karaoke and bars. I think at the time, yeah, like in the CBD. I don't know, like I forgot a lot of the references now. Like, there was a club called Home, pretty big.
Yeah.
You kind of the glow stick, like you dance with the glow stick.
Yeah, like raves.
Right.
Yeah. What's the main street in Sydney that everyone goes out to? George
Street is like the main, like the main street you go from, one suburb to another.
Yeah.
Did you ever live there?
Never. So I've never, Sydney's like, I haven't spent a lot of time in Sydney at all.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Brisbane. So I grew up in Perth, yeah. And then Perth till I was...
That's like okay.
Yeah, other end. So to Perth till I was like... So I did primary school in Perth, high school in Brisbane, and then I stayed throughout Brisbane for my adult life.
How come you moved from Perth to Brisbane?
Family. So mum and dad are from Brisbane originally.
Oh.
So they wanted to go back to be closer to their family. But Perth is amazing. Did you get to Perth?
No, I've never been.
Damn.
Did you know, like, Australians or people from Sydney, they go to Bali. Like, if they travel, they don't go to the West.
Nah.
They go to Asia.
No one travels Australia. Like, I mean, we do. We go to, like, we'll go drive a few hours to go to a surf beach or, like, a beach holiday locally. But overseas, a lot of holidays are overseas because we can get like return flights to Bali for like $500. We can get return flights to Japan for like $600.
Exactly.
It's like,
and
why?
You go with Sunday is $2,000.
Exactly.
Or you go to Gold Coast, it's like,
it makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It's cheaper to go to an overseas holiday.
Yeah.
So.
But I did go for the Great Barrier Reef. That was worth it.
Oh, you did? Did you scuba dive?
I did the snorkeling.
Can you swim?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love swimming.
Good.
But that was worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Before I moved to New York, I did some traveling in Australia. I went to, Gold Coast. Is Great Barrier Reef in Brisbane or Gold Coast?
No, it's further north. It's like up. You would have, I don't know how did you fly to Cairns?
Yeah.
You would have flown to Cairns or gone to Brisbane or Townsville and driven.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
How long were you there for?
I was there for more than 13 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
Did you get a citizenship?
Of course, yeah.
So you're a citizen?
Of course, yeah.
So you can go whenever you want?
Yeah, I just came back. I went in December. I came back. Oh, it's now June. So anyway.
So will you keep your Australian passport?
Of course.
Yeah. Would you ever live there again?
I would. I guess now for comedy, I like here because there's a lot more opportunities, I would say. But I did do some shows in Sydney. It was fun. I did a show in Surrey Hills in the bar. But downstairs is is a comedy club. I should remember the name, but
so that was recently?
That was in December.
Yeah,
that was great. And then did another show. Both show my mom show up. So my mom came with me. So it was weird but fun. Like she just filmed me the whole time.
That's amazing.
And then the host was The host was like crowd working her.
Oh really?
And then she's just like, I don't understand it. What's going on?
How do you find the scene? Because I was back obviously a few months ago as well. Was back a month ago, and I did 3 shows. And
wow,
what did you think with your experience? Like, what did you think the scene is like compared to New York? Like, did you think the shows were good? Did you think there was a difference in like how the audience received you there as opposed to here?
I think for the 2 shows I did, I didn't have a lot of sample size too. Yeah. And it was the smaller shows too, but they were really great. They were really supportive. Just like normal Australians are always so supportive.
That's what I found as well. I found it was like kind of easier to get laughs. Although I did completely bomb one of my shows, like bombed. But
did you do like offensive stuff?
Sort of. Yeah. There was, I don't know. Sometimes women just don't like me. There was a bunch of women my age and they just couldn't get around me. So I did it. Yeah. Anyways. I mean, my material is not totally offensive, but it's not like sometimes it can get people off.
You try to, be authentic, and then they're like maybe not too authentic.
Yeah. Don't be yourself. I don't know. I mean, I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out. So, but it was interesting. Did you start doing stand-up comedy in Australia?
No, I started in New York.
Okay, all right. So you did it. You were Australia for 13 years, and then. What was your reason for leaving? Why did you go, all right, I'm going to go to New York?
Yeah, I got a job here. So I got relocated from Sydney to New York. And then I'm like a dog, like just like gone wild. I was like, whoa, big city. Well, Sydney was great. I learned my values, like, because in Hong Kong, I felt like I was more focused on like, progressing. Like you need to study, you need to make it, you need to have stable income.
It's very Asian culture, isn't it?
Yeah, like stability is like a whole thing. And then when I went to Australia, that's where I learned to chill.
Yeah.
Because they were like, yeah, no worries, mate. Like that's like their thing. Like,
yeah.
I was thinking like, yeah, no worries, mate. Everything, no worries. Like, oh, really? I'm not gonna worry. Like,
all right.
I get really bored, like on the beach, because like people love it. I was like, I need to do something. Like and then meditation. I was like, I suffer, like, because I have nothing going on. Like I'm not stressed. And then New York was really like kicked my ass because everyone is doing stuff like hustling. So I have to, that's where I was like, hey, on top of my job, I need to find the passion. Plus, there's a couple of reasons. Like I was like really fed up with like the dating scene in New York City. So I felt like I was not used to it because I'm like, oh, what do you mean? Like, I'll see you and I see you, like it's like so weird. So I was like, I'm not gonna stop.
So people weren't straight up like up front here. Did you find the dating scene different here to Australia?
I think when dating app came out, like it kind of disrupted the whole industry.
Yeah,
because
I can still remember before, like the time before dating apps and time after. Dating apps didn't come into the dating scene. I mean, they were there, but they weren't mainstream, and people weren't using them until probably till I was in my late 20s. And you're a little bit older than me, I think. So you would definitely have a stark difference of like before and after. And can you? To
be honest, like I was always in a long-term relationship, so I never really like kind of experienced like how it's like kind of dating apps was like my entry point back into the dating scene. But like the comparisons between Australia datings, I feel like Australians that they're really looking for marriage, like to settle down. Maybe now is different.
No, it's kind of like that. I found that as well. People settle down earlier in Australia, and you feel it kind of gets like, I don't know, like biologically imprinted in your brain that you have to do that as well. Like people start getting like panic, like cabin fever if they're not settling down by their early 30s, if they don't have like the husband or the wife, they're like, I've got to find someone. My eggs are going to die and my sperm's going to crawl into a ball and rot. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know where we get that from. It's strange.
I think in New York, people are like too focused on like making it, like they even make it in a career-wise. Like you need to like promotion or like if you do your own business, you're gonna find investors. You're gonna get IPO, and then like everything else is like not
secondary.
Really, yeah. There's some people who I think they marry someone, but then they just try to keep them in like Jersey or something.
Yeah.
So, but that's not something, you know, I'm attracted to. So
Yeah.
so then I found comedy. So then that become my my husband, I guess.
All right.
That's like, yeah, where I feel like I can just, you know, invest my time in. But I want to talk about like the Australians. I feel like I have disconnected with the Australian culture since I moved here. You are like the one of the few Australians that I met, particularly in the comedy circle. That I met Australians comedians, but they are touring, so they kind of bypassing. So you are like my first Australian friend who lives in New York City. Do you know other Australian comedians in New York?
Not really, no. Same as you. Like I meet people that are passing through. Like I met a guy this week that's just passing through, but I don't know anyone that's like here trying to like build their career here. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
It's strange. And I thought there would be more.
How do you...
You know what it is as well? I think it's because it's so fucking hard to get a visa.
Oh, really?
To be in America.
Isn't there E3?
I don't know. Like I don't know okay. So from my understanding, I don't know the codes. You can get the B1, B2, which allows you to like be in America for 6 months, but to be in America for 6 months as an Australian is very expensive because our dollar
How did you get here then?
Our dollar is so poor at the moment, and everything's double. So you would need to. It would not be feasible. I think it would just turn so many people off. But otherwise, you need to get a job, a business. Like you need to be like sponsored by a business, or it's really hard to get a visa. If we want to go to the UK, we can get a visa like that.
Yeah.
Because I think it's all because we're in the Commonwealth.
I regret I didn't do that. Yeah, but
you regret it?
Yeah, I regret I didn't do that. But I'm happy here. But yeah, no, I thought there was a E3 visa, but
what's that one? Do you know?
It's just like, yeah. Oh, if you have a sponsor, then
it's really
you
hard.
can apply for that. Yeah.
I don't think businesses are that inclined to do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be.
I guess it just depends on
it's like,
you find
I feel like that's like an arranged marriage. You know, it's like marrying someone before you even know if they're going to be any good.
Yeah, you can't leave, like, you know.
Yeah.
You have to stay in the marriage.
Yeah, forever.
Until you find another job.
Yeah, or another wife.
Yeah, another wife, yes. And no, I was like thinking, I feel like Australians, I really learned a lot from the Australians, like, you know, credit to you because of the, you know, how I find most people are funny, actually. Do you think Australians are funny?
Yeah, I do. I think Americans are really funny, but Australians, there's just a sense of humor that's like nothing else.
Do you remember the fish and chips guy?
Yeah.
Isn't there like, there's a guy shop. There was a guy, he runs a fish and chip shop, and then his neighbor's shop was burning down, and then he went in his undies with nothing else, and then he just like put out the fire or something.
He's a hero. We should play the clip. We play the clip right here. But no, he went into the shop. Didn't he go in there to see if everyone was all right or something? And then he put the fire out in his jocks, in his da-da-da-das.
We need to play that.
What a legend.
That is typical Australian.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Like, I felt so protected when I was there. Like, I feel like everyone, you know, have my back, you know, because that's his whole slogan, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna play that.
Yeah. He's like,
look out your mate look after you.
Yeah, it really is like that.
How do you say it?
You look after your mates look after you. It's like I don't know. I feel like that's like everywhere in the world once you find a community. But I think like Australians, I don't know why, but I think it's maybe because we're so isolated. It does seem to be like people are kind of nicer there. Like here, I've noticed in like a lot of the government services or even people that work in like hospitality or like people just aren't as nice here as they are at home. Like not even close. Like,
why do you think is the case?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But is it just New York? Because I don't know enough about America. It's probably people are probably so super sweet when you get out of New York. I'm sure.
People are so happy in Australia.
Yeah.
But
do you think
I don't want to go back yet. I'm like, don't tell me to go back to my country.
I think about it sometimes though. I do. I think about going home.
You just came back.
I know. I think like, oh, how long do I want to live here for? And some days I'm like, I want to live here forever.
You want to live here forever?
And then some days I'm like, I want to go home tomorrow.
When do you want to? Yeah, well, in what scenario?
I don't know. I just miss it. I miss the lifestyle. The lifestyle, like going to the beach every weekend and like, you know, like I just miss the things that I used to do that would, you know, the way I describe it is like you can kind of put your life in little boxes. Like you can like go to the beach and that's like a box and you've kind of like separated yourself from every other box and you can like, I don't know, you got so much access to things that are so different. Like go to the mountains or go for like to the bush for walks. And
I feel the same. There's like in Sydney, the harbour is in the middle of like CBD and when the sun, you know, reflects on the water and then, wow, that's so stunning. And then I was like, wow, it's just, you know, you're like, why would I leave? You know? But then, I don't know. You gotta tell me. Like, I guess for me now, it's like comedy is very, something that I'm very passionate about. Yeah. And there are definitely more shows happening here. And this is where this is probably, as far as I know, this is probably the best comedy hub in the world, New York. Like, I don't know where else would be better than New York in the sense of where you can opportunity. So that's it. It's like, this is what we're doing. I want to make Australia proud. Like, I would love to, I'm actually looking into, you know, the Sydney Comedy Festival for next year, probably. I guess it's a little bit similar to Fringe Festival. Have you looked into it? I haven't, but I would be interested in doing something like that. I think that would be really cool. We can do half hour each or something. That would be fun. Good reason to go home. Yeah, I think I've been to the Fringe Festival, and I understand, you know, people, if they want to share a venue and do half hour each, that's something that's marketable too. I would really like to do the Brisbane Comedy Festival as well. Oh. Yeah. I didn't know there is one. But, I think that every city has one. Oh, wow. Hey, that's a really good idea. Really Thank you for planting that seed. I deep down, even though I'm from Hong Kong, but I'm Australian. I want to, you know, I want to make my people proud. Like I want to, you know, when I feel like I'm ready, I want to go home and like, you know, do my own show. And it's, you know what, so do I. It's something that a lot of comics already like touring around, you know, you know, like Joe Wong is someone I really, like comedian that I really respect. And he was performing in Australia, Sydney, in Chatswood. I saw the flyer. I was like, Chatswood, that's where I used to live. I was like, whoa, that's such like a big theater down the street from where I used to live. And I was like, wow, like kind of seeing that that he's there. And I'm like, wait, I'm actually working towards that goal. Like anyway, like obviously like because, you know, he did that and I was like, oh, maybe I can do that too, you know? And that's like something we can think about, I guess. Yeah. But I know what you mean. Like I want to make my friends and family proud. I want to make my parents proud because, yeah, why not? You know, what else is there in life? You know, we don't have a lot of reasons to do things, you know, and why not make
it would be nice to be like for them to say, hey, actually him moving to New York and like chasing this thing which is so dumb that only like 0.001% of people ever make any money out of it and make a career out of it. Be pretty cool to like get to a point and be like, hey, yeah, you actually did okay. That'd be nice.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah. No, I think there are a lot of opportunities, and I have comic friends who told me like they are, pro comics, and they tour a couple of months in Australia from, like you said, each city has festival. So they just spend like a quarter a year touring between the different states in Australia. And that's how they, then they make a living.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Have you thought about doing some touring here in America?
Definitely. I think that will be something I'll be planning. Yeah, I feel like right now I'm trying to make the connections.
Yeah.
Like in terms of getting on shows and then in different states. But doing my own, I think, it's you need to work on the social media stuff. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, but that's all part of the process.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It is the curse of a comic now, though, isn't it? It's because it's not. You need to be good. Like, obviously, you need to be undeniably good, but almost as equally as important, you have to have a social media following.
Yeah.
It's just, but it's like.
Follow me on Instagram. Yeah.
We're going to have the socials if you want to follow Macy. Everyone should follow Macy. We'll have that in the show notes. Actually, you know what? When I look at the views of each of my podcasts, it's 50% Australian audience, 50% American audience.
Oh, wow.
So
that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Aussie.
Follow and support your fellow Aussies, boys and girls.
Yes. My friends here, like some of them are Australian, but a lot of them went back after like 7-8 years.
Yeah.
They want that. Australia, like, you miss home,
Yeah.
But I do have a few friends here that are, Australians who will live here forever, mostly because they have a partner here, who's American. So, so I still have those, like, kind of connections. And when I meet them, like, I always feel like, oh, you don't have my mates. You don't have mates. Like, oh, my God. Even though you see them once a year, I'm like, that's mates.
Yeah.
And my friend hosts Australia Day, like, party here in New York. And we have Tim Tams and Saucy Roll, we buy. Damn. Burke Street. Is it Burke Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you go there?
I haven't. In Sydney?
In here.
Oh, Burke? No.
They have one here.
Oh, really? What is it?
Oh, the Australian pastry brand. Yeah, we need to bring it up here.
Okay. Jamie, bring that up. I haven't.
Maybe next time we'll do an episode there.
Yeah, we should bring some Australian food in. I haven't had a meat pie in New York. Can you get Australian meat pies here?
Yeah, there's Australian pops here. Have you been?
No.
The Australian in Midtown.
Okay.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. No, we should do.
Damn.
Maybe we should do some videos.
Yeah,
there.
we should.
Because I think I'm Asian Australian. I'm not an Australian citizen, so I'm calling myself Australian.
You're Australian.
And you're Australian.
Yeah. We should do something. We should do some content.
Yeah, I think so.
That'd be fun.
Because I'm still, confused about a lot of different cultural stuff. Like the fish and chips guy, I'm like, I don't see a lot of those in Sydney, but they're more like hippies, I guess.
Yeah, we call it like bogans.
I love bogans.
Yeah, they're the bogans. They're like
bogans are so fun.
I know.
They don't have a tooth missing in the front.
Our bogans are like the American rednecks, if anyone doesn't know. That's what we call a bogan. They're like, ochre. I was like, how you going, mate? Like, yeah, you want to...
G'day, mate.
Yeah, g'day, mate. You want to go down the shops and get a bloody sausage roll, go to the servo and bloody get a packet of chips and... Well,
but this is so endearing. That's like, they really have your back. That's like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Australian mates, they...
Yeah, they are. It's a good culture. Everyone should go to Australia. Go to Australia. I didn't realize you're a citizen. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're the only Aussie that I know. That you're the only Aussie that I'm friends with here that actually lives here. That's awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh really?
I don't know. Actually, I know one other, but I'm not friends with him. Like not friends with him. Like I know him, but I wanted to ask you. So, how was your very first time doing comedy? Like, what did you like?
Yeah, the first time was actually, I think it was a showcase, like after a class. I did like an all women comedy class.
Yeah.
I did it. It was like a challenge, and I thought I was just it's like a New Year resolution thing. I signed up to a class, a course. And there's 5 classes, and I thought I'll just go to the first one and I'll say I've done it, but I kept going back to finish it, and then at the end of the course, it was the class show. So, I did really great. I had 2 glasses of wine before I went up, and I was on stage. I didn't see anything, and they were all friends and family. So I killed it. And then I was like, "Yeah, I'm a pro."
And then reality. I think it's really important for people to have that for their first experience if they can. Like I think like I did the same thing. I did a course and then I did a show in front of friends and family. And if your first time is good like that, I don't know, it gives you a lot of like good feelings and a good drive to like keep going with it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you started. Like, you were like, yeah, I'm a pro. And then you're like, oh, actually, I'm bad. Where are my friends?
Yeah.
And, but even now, I can see, like, you know, when people have a 1 hour, like, a lot of times, like, you know, people will come out to support them are their fans. So, obviously, you know, there's some element of, like, you know, you find your people that like your humor. Like, that's how it become, you know, it will spread further, right? Like it reach more people. Well, but you start with people who have your back.
Yeah, and like you look at like any of the pros, like any of the pros that can sell tickets just from their name. You know, like Theo Von, for example. You're going to see Theo Von because you love Theo Von. And that's essentially a bringer show. He's brought his people. He's brought his friends and family. I mean, you could almost do no wrong in a show like that, could you? Like if you're that...
That's like a different level,
yeah.
No, that's, like you said, it's more like it's loyal fans at that point.
Yeah.
You can like, you know, blink twice and then they're like, whoa!
Yeah. That was amazing!
Oh, and yeah. No, I feel like we can keep going, you know, like what else? It's New York City. You can if you can make it here, you can make it.
That's what they say. I keep hearing that. If you make it here, you make it anywhere. It's like
that is
it is such a saying that goes around, and it feels like it can be true, but also feels like, man, you got to flog your. It's just that you have to work so hard here to get anywhere. So I feel like
the bar is so high. The bar is so high.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just...
That's why, isn't it? Because if you've worked hard enough, which you have to be here, if you've worked hard enough to actually make it here, you really can make it anywhere. But
I think, it's like personally you have that faith in yourself because you already experienced, you know.
Yeah.
But having said that, like, I really think the value I learned from Australia is really instrumental in my growth because, you know, knowing there's these really nice people out there. Like, you know, before I moved here, my friend's family looked after my dog who was 14 years old at the time. And I just couldn't bring him because he was, you know, I have this job opportunity here, but I wouldn't be able to move him, you know, because, you know, it's a senior dog. And And I just wouldn't have that capacity. But my friend's family took him in and really like treat him like just, like a family. And yeah, I didn't even have to ask. When they find out I have this job opportunity, they were like, Macy, we are here for you if you need us to look after your dog. And we're here. We have, they have a great family. And they have a great backyard. I didn't have a great backyard at the time. I was like, I have a small backyard. And they have a huge backyard with a nice garden. And so they were like, yeah, I was going to ask them, but they asked me first if I needed to, help. So like, where do you find, there's nice people everywhere. But to me, that's like Australians that like, the fish and chips guys, like my friend's family who look after my dog while I was like pursuing my dream.
Yeah.
And so we should definitely like do contents on Australia.
I'm keen. I really want to go check out that new pub as well, the Old Mates pub.
Old Mates pub?
Old Mates. It's like I think it's the only Australian bar in New York City now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's brand new. It's opened by Hamish and Andy.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember Hamish and Andy.
Course.
Yeah. So those guys opened it. It's down in the financial district. We should go there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it
Yeah.
because your mate look after you, you look after your mate. I think that should be our
That's the slogan of this podcast. Look after your mates.
Look after your mates.
Yeah.
Your mates will look after you.
In Australia, hopefully in America as well. Actually, you know what? The people in America, the boys and girls that I've met here doing comedy are some of the nicest people I've ever met. Truly, like I've met some fantastic people. A lot of people. I think New York has some beautiful souls here.
Oh
as well. Yeah. Really nice people.
Definitely.
And got people that I have no doubt would have my back. There's some bullshit that goes on here. You can get dragged into the bullshit here as well. Like sometimes you're like, oh shit, okay, what is going on here? I don't even know how this has even happened. There's some bullshit that goes on here, but there's some really good people in America. Yeah.
The New Yorkers, they are no bullshit, right? They just tell you like it is.
Yeah.
But they're, some of them is for good intention. Mm-hmm. A lot of them. But at the end of the day, like everyone's so busy. That's how I feel. I feel like everyone's just running around doing things.
It's a good way to get reminded, which I think is a good thing, that no one gives a fuck about you. Like people care about you in the sense of like no one wishes you ill will, but everyone is so much in their lane. And I think it's a good reminder because we spend so much time worrying about what other people think of us. Like I do anyway. I've fallen into that trap. Like, what does this person think? What does this person think? I'm like, why? They're not thinking about me. They're thinking about them. They're just thinking about their own life. No one gives a shit about me in a sense. So that's what New York has reminded me. It's like, I'm just a number, look after myself, keep my own dreams and ambitions in the forefront.
You're so American. It's only been 1 year.
I've converted.
We need to go to the Old Mace pub to undo that damage. You're like, no one care about me, and I'm okay. And then I'm like, you're an Old Mace pub, dude.
Do get a palmy.
No, every now and then we need to, get a little Australian
We really do.
memories, and then it's like our IV.
Yeah. That would be a funny clip.
Yeah. Like this IV is called what? Yeah. No, we need to do an episode on your growing up, like your.
Yeah, we do.
Grow up. We need to compare like how I grew up and how you grew up. I was like in the library, but whoa.
Next time.
Well,
Macy, do you want to give everyone your socials?
My social is very simple. It just follow Macy KK, MACYKK. That's it.
Nice.
So get everybody to follow.
Everybody follow Macy. She's a bloody legend. She's fucking hilarious.
Oh, thank you. We're gonna do
We'll do some more. Plenty
yeah.
more. This is good. It's good to. I like the first episode to like kind of get to know people.
That's true.
And it's so like everyone knows who you are now. You've had the introduction, and then we'll do plenty more. Well, thank you, Macy, for coming on.
Thank you, Cam.
I've really enjoyed it.
Me.
You're very welcome. See you in the next one, guys.
See you.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this episode of Going After It with Cam Bird. Produced by Cam Bird. Podcast edited by Calpit. Music by Brian Rigby. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. And if you can, get after it.